everybody. This is Grant and Jim on Pardon Me, Brother. Or is it Pardon My Brother? You know, I couldn't let that go. We are working on our first episode ever, so congratulations on that one.
All right.
Short high five across the camera there.
Absolutely.
Episode one. So I guess the first thing we want to do is I want to thank Jim for agreeing to do all this craziness and have us on camera together and do these conversations. And I'm very excited about doing this with Jim, and as I know he is as well. And I'm ready for him with some cool sound effects in case he gets out of hand.
Yes, I am very excited about doing this with Jim myself. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
What the hell is wrong with you?
It's going to be a long podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a long podcast. So, anyways, I guess we'll start off with the obvious thing here. Let's go to camera 2, and we're going to take a quick look at my co-host here, James, with his beautiful hat.
Thank you.
And I know there's a story with that hat. So
There's a short story with his hat.
You should tell us the story about your
Okay.
hat.
The story with this hat is I bought it in Myrtle Beach. My wife and I went to Boston. I'm sorry. I did not buy it in Myrtle Beach. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Where the hell were you?
My wife and I went on a vacation to Boston. We drove to Boston. And we didn't have any plans except we had a check-in date in Boston. The idea was to drive to Pennsylvania, see Justin and Lake, have dinner with them, and then just kind of drive and stop whenever we wanted, wherever we wanted. And on the way, we decided to go to, I can't think of it now, the name of the island. I don't know why I'm having trouble thinking of the name of the island. But I'm totally blanked on the island. You know, Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
I want to go to Martha's Vineyard because I'm a big Jaws fan. Okay?
Sure.
So we were driving kind of that way.
Amity Island.
Yes, Anthony Island. And we were driving that way, and we had said, well, we want to go to Martha's Vineyard for, a day, a couple hours or something. So we did. We drove to Martha's Vineyard, and we took the ferry out, spent a day out there, and I wasn't looking for a hat, but we found a shop that had hats, and they had this hat, and I loved it. And it's a leather hat, and I bought it, and I like it. It's probably my favorite hat, to be honest with you, of all my hats.
Oh, I'm covering you up. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
The layout moved on me.
That's okay. But yeah, that's when I bought this, was on the on Martha's Vineyard, which of course I dreaded going on the boat to the island because I don't like boats. So no, it wasn't that bad. But had a good time. And I've been to other places looking for hats and I've always had trouble finding hats that I like.
Okay, got it.
Plus, if you're a person who doesn't wear hats, I do wear hats, but I mostly have worn ball caps until I got older, and then, people would go, well, that looks weird on you. Well, yeah, it looks weird on me because I don't.
You don't wear hats?
I never wear hats. But something's got to look good enough to wear once in a while. So
Sure.
I'm going to take it off now so I can get my headset on.
Go ahead. It looks good.
Thank you. It is one of my favorite hats.
One of the other issues of trying to do a podcast is every now and again you get the family that will be texting and calling you while you're
Absolutely.
recording. So we're just going to kind of deal with that.
Absolutely.
Hey, if we move on to my hat real quick, it's Dodge. So it's a Hemi day for me.
Why don't you zoom in a little
Like,
so they can see it a little better?
Jaw.
I meant switch the camera to your view. I didn't mean
it's
just.
it's both of us.
I didn't mean
I
stick your face in the camera, but
it's-
that works too.
It's both of us.
Okay, that's fine.
So I guess that probably takes care of that part. We've got some pretty decent topics, I think, today that's going to be kind of dig into our past a little bit and compare two different generations, and we can get into that in a moment. Do you want to talk about our guest and try to make a call?
Sure, we can do that.
right.
Let's jump right in.
You work on that and get your phone out, I guess, and get ready with that, and then we're going to try to dial this number here. This is our first guest that we're going to actually have for our episode. He's not going to be on with us live today, but we're just going to call and do the invite. So, yeah, you should be.
Oh, we're doing Dad.
You just gave it away.
Wow, man, freaked out.
So yeah, we're gonna try to see if we can get Dad on here.
Father time on the phone. Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't say it. Was that recorded?
Yeah, why don't you just do a Barry Horowitz and break your shoulder with your hand? That boy. Now you're doing it. All right, let's go to Jim and see what he's got going on over here.
Okay, just go ahead and dial, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, should be able to.
I hear something. It's ringing.
It's ringing.
Hi, this is Jim. Leave me a message. Thanks.
Go ahead.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished
Can we give him the
recording, you
invite
may
on the
hang up
message?
or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Dad, it's your eldest and favorite son, Jim.
What the hell? Hi,
I'm
Dad.
here. I'm here with the other one,
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah.
And we wanted to give you a call and give you your invite to come on our podcast. On our next episode, is that the official
Yeah.
invite for our next episode? We want to give you a call and have you on our podcast over the phone,
Well, we're probably going to meet him in person.
or we can come meet you in person
that would be the goal. But
and have you on our podcast.
But we wanted to invite you and just be the
So-
official first guest.
If you get this message within the next, 40 minutes, give us a call and
What the hell is wrong with
tell
you?
us your response for that. That'd be great.
Love you, Dad.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what happened to my camera here.
I don't know. Are you having difficulties? We're already having technical
went-
difficulties.
I'm gone. It's gone completely.
If you pull your mouse all the way to the bottom, you'll see the camera
Gotcha.
icon. Try that. So, since Jim's messed up the computer because
Sorry.
he's a loser.
I guess I deserve that one, but you only get the one.
All right. Well, I guess what we could probably do now is we can go right into the body of all this, and we can talk about
The body.
the body, not Jesse the body, but the body of the conversation. And we're going to hit on the Generation X, not necessarily versus, this next generation or new generation, but just in comparison, so fair comparison. So why don't we start off with Jim, and you tell us a little bit about what you think are some of the distinct advantages of Generation X.
Advantages of Generation X? Definitely. The fact that we kind of, we were made way more self-sufficient, and the fact that we kind of raised ourselves in a way. I mean, I know it's a joke, we among Generation Xers, we raised ourselves. We were thrown outside in the morning and said, don't come home till dinner, if you were lucky to get dinner.
Right? No, it's true.
No, but yeah, we were taught to fend for ourselves. Many of us were latchkey kids. I think it was around our generation when most moms started working, and they had the two-income families. And yeah, most of us did have to fend for ourselves after school. You had to come home and you had, your chores you had to do and your schoolwork you had to do, and we had to do it. We were on our own. And if anybody called or somebody creepy walked up the driveway, we had to deal with it. There was
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot else to, Nowadays, it's not the same. There's a lot more homeschooling, a lot more, I think. Oh, there you go. That's a wonderful photo right there.
That's Generation X.
Wow, that's
baby.
Generation X.
What's wrong with my stomach?
It's fat.
But
You were preparing to be a 50-year-old man, don't you understand?
But my arms were so thin. Go back to that. My arms are so thin.
Well, why didn't somebody tell me to tuck in my shirt, for crying out loud? That would have been nice
Well, it's
too.
because it's Generation X, and you should have known.
I
to do
should
that
have
on
known
your
to
own.
do it for myself. Yes.
Yeah. Nope.
That's one thing I see. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, with the Generation Xers, the stuff that I've just noticed is that it takes a lot to get dramatically under our skin. We've been exposed to so much stuff, and it was all like tough love learning. and maybe that's the best way I can put it, is that we had a lot of tough love, which was important. I think it was necessary.
Absolutely.
And, if we got home from school, a lot of times we didn't have babysitters. Sometimes we
No.
did, but a lot of times we didn't have babysitters. If you had homework, you were expected to get it done. There's stuff that was expected to be done that even though
Yes.
our parents, I know they did inspect what they expected, but
Yes.
there wasn't a lot of BS. And what I mean by that is if you didn't get your homework done, you tried to get it on mom and dad on, oh, this is why, but it didn't work.
No.
If you didn't do it, you just didn't do it, and you're better off just owning it and saying, yeah, I screwed up, I didn't do it.
Absolutely.
There was no participation awards, there was none of this other stuff in regards to that. So, so I mean, that's kind of what I see with the Generation X, is just, we're just a lot more thick-skinned. Is that the right?
Yeah. Well,
Right way to put it.
I think so.
Because that's just what I see, is that this generation now they'll shake their head about something, and something that that they're upset about, and then Generation Xers will also shake our head, but we don't have to win every battle. We don't care.
Well, I know, and I'll mention this. I'm sure I'll mention TikTok a lot while we're talking. Something I saw on TikTok, but the videos, all the generation wars, and everybody will say, Generation X, why aren't you involved? Why don't you get on here and plead your case or throw your hat in the ring? And Generation X usually responds with, because we're not worried about anything else except we're okay.
Yeah.
We don't care what you have to say about generation this or generation that. We've already done it. We've forged our own way, and we don't care what you have to say.
No. I guess
we've already taken care of ourselves.
I think we also know as a Generation Xers is that. Oh, here, Jim, check out this picture too. There you go. Does that look familiar?
Wow, yeah.
With Generation Xers, we're not invested in every little thing. So, like, if I give you a comment and you disagree, I just go, oh, okay. I don't have to be overly concerned with the fact that you don't have the same views that I do.
Right.
Where Generation now, what they do is that everybody has to have the same view, or they get upset, or they get mad, or they want to cancel you, right? Or I've seen people out there make a comment, and it always comes back to politics, but it seems like, they make a comment about something. Someone else make it political, and they might have been friends for 15 years or 10 years or 8 years, but now they cancel them, and they stop being friends with them. I'm like, I remember getting into fights with friends, or like almost either fisticuffs or close to it, and then when we were done arguing or having the fight, hey man, you want to go get a Coke or something? Let's go get us hamburger.
Yeah, you could play football on the football field with somebody and drag them out football, fight with somebody, and then when the game's over, you're done. You're back to, let's go hang out and do something. Yeah, definitely.
And here's something else. I don't want to get too deep into this, but you and I have different views on a lot of things. We have a lot of views that are same, or very similar, or they're aligned. But the stuff like if you have a view that's different than mine, what I always try to do, and I think you do this, is I'll explain my point of view, and you will listen to understand, not listen to respond. Those
Correct.
are two different things.
Correct.
So if you say something to me that I don't agree with, immediately in my head I'm like, no, right? If I'm saying no, I will also stop my thinking and listen to what you're saying, because maybe there's something there I don't know, or maybe I'm misinformed,
Right.
or maybe something like that. So that's kind of why I like doing that.
Absolutely, and you saying that's kind of funny, because I think that leads right into the whole Generation X thing. I think that's just our generation does things differently. We listen, like you said, to understand, not to respond, because that's just our thought process. That's the way our life was. Like I said, we had to deal with things on our own. If we wanted to know something, and we had to ask and listen to find out why and learn from it, because tomorrow we weren't going to be told again. Yeah. Once we were told to do something,
Yeah.
we weren't going to be told again. And we learned
This
that
guy
quickly.
on the far left pretty much told you something once, And then that was really the extent of
Like,
it. And you better.
don't jump on the chair.
Oh, Dad, I hope you come on this damn podcast, baby. Woo!
Wow, man, freaked out.
It's going to be epic.
Whatever you do, don't jump on this chair. Why?
We're going to have to ask about that. God, I wonder if we can get Cindy on the phone.
I think we already have.
I'd like to ask Cindy about that, and she's not responding, so I don't know where Cindy is. Cindy, if you're watching this, you need to make yourself available because we're going to be coming to you for a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Cindy wasn't
So-
there, though.
I don't care.
Did Cindy get caught jumping on the chair before us? Is that why the warning came, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not entirely sure on that one, but yeah, I guess that's the big thing now is that I just noticed that, and the other two differences really. I guess let's talk about some of the good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot more freedom. Families looked out for each other. If I was down the street and I was screwing around and messing around and getting myself in trouble, before I got home, my mom or dad got a phone call. So when I walked in the door,
Oh, absolutely.
I was toast. That was a big thing with that. But also, if I was down the street and it's summertime and I'm out there going crazy, the neighbor lady would come out and hand me a glass of water or a glass of orange juice. She'd walk out with a tray of cookies. I mean, people just
Right.
don't do this stuff anymore. They don't see
No.
the kids and look out for each other in the neighborhood not like that.
No.
And nowadays they just don't do that, so you don't think that way. And
Well, now, too, most kids are taught not to, no matter how well you know the neighbors. I mean, unless,
well, it's scary now.
yeah, it's scary.
not the same.
Social
Different
media has made it, and media itself is just more visible to everybody, the bad stuff. And
Yeah.
things are changed in that sense, unless you really, really know somebody, I watched this show, can't even give it a shout out to, I can't remember the name. It was a parenting show. It was on last year, I think. And one of the, they had things, exercise, they tried to get the kids to do things without, and one of the things was, would the kids go home with a stranger? It wasn't, and they weren't really strangers. They were like the next door neighbor.
Right.
Or somebody they went with, all the time. And most of the kids got in the car.
Right.
But, the one girl, the oldest girl did not. The one with the single mother did not. She said, well, yeah, I can go home with you, but let me just text my mom real quick and double check.
Right.
She passed, and the rest didn't. But it was like it was people they knew.
Wow.
But they were still trying to stress, unless your mom and dad said you can go home with them, you shouldn't be going home with them. And I get it. But
Wow. Well, and I guess the other thing too is if you think about it like this, with Generation X, we're the last generation that's going to remember a time before the internet,
oh yeah,
before cell phones,
yeah,
before microwave ovens, before cars that didn't have a push button start. There's a lot of things there.
before video games.
Before video games, yeah. Before really the cable system. Remember, we used to have all your standard stations, which was 3, maybe 4, if you had good reception. And then you might have a parent that paid the extra money for HBO. Not HBO and Stars and all that, just HBO. There wasn't all those other
Well,
packages,
Take a kid from today, especially a teenager, throw them in a room with, no TV. Well, you can give them a TV, but no cell phone. Well, give them a TV, but no internet. So
No remote.
no cell phone.
No remote.
Yeah, no remote for the TV. No video games, obviously.
Right.
And say, hey, make yourself busy for 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I hope they like to read. I mean, at least they can read. But if they, we entertained ourselves for an entire day without that stuff.
Yeah.
And I know it seems to people of this generation, they can't even fathom it.
Well, they've never had to do it, and
No.
I think they could do it.
Well, they can do
if
it.
if they had to,
They can't do
but they're
it.
not in a situation that they have to.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the downside, if we look at some of the downside of it, the good of it with Generation X is that the country could literally shut down.
Mhm.
and it would suck, but we'd be okay.
Yeah.
And you probably wouldn't hear a whole lot of bitching. When I mean shut down, meaning the technology that we're so accustomed to, even us,
Yes.
even you and I. You know, if my cell phone goes out, my smart home goes out. Part of it.
Yes.
But if the internet went down, I'm okay. I still got a stack of encyclopedias. I can
Right.
still look some stuff up if I
Right.
needed to. I'm old enough now that I've seen enough stuff that I know,
But what would you do about music?
you know. Well, hey, you know it's
Do
really.
you have a radio in
Hey,
the house?
here's what's really funny about that. I'm going to go to camera. What's really funny about that is now LPs are back.
Yes.
Record players
Yes,
are back.
they are.
Abby has one, and she got all of our old albums, all of our old albums she has. And so we listen to Def Leppard and Grease and anything else that we had from the 80s.
That's cool.
So she listens to that kind of stuff, so it's kind of fun.
It's fun.
But for the generation now, you shut all that stuff down. They can't even travel to the grocery store. They don't
Yeah.
have Google Maps.
Well, I know I've talked to Justin and Lake, with their grandkids, now that they've got kids, and I have the grandkids, and try to stress them, try to teach their kids, you got to take the cell phones away every night for a couple hours. Dinner time especially. We did that with our kids. If we went out, well, even at home, dinner
Right.
time, no, phone goes away,
Right.
and we couldn't have it either.
Right.
And they'd bust us if we pulled it out and started Googling something. What, Dad? Which phone? Well, because you know how many times something comes up in conversation, you Google it. Oh, what is that name? But they'd call us on it. But I still think that's a good thing.
Welcome back. We pee a lot, so it comes with age, I suppose, eh?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, because Jimmy didn't pee this time. That was just me. I went through a lot of iced tea. All right, we were talking a few minutes ago, and we had a couple more things that we want to add to the whole
Yeah.
Gen X thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Generation X and some of the things that we do that definitely today's generation probably does not do. I remember when I used to come over on the weekends, we didn't have phones, we didn't have internet,
Right.
Google and stuff like that,
Right.
and being that I only saw you every other weekend, we had a lot to discuss, but remember coming over on Friday nights and, we would not just discuss the movie that we watched, but we would literally sit down and spend hours telling the other person the entire movie.
Covering plot lines and character development.
Yes. One of my favorites was when I came over on the weekend and Friday night, and I think we were outside working in the yard, summer, and you just had to tell me about this movie, Secret Admirer, that you had saw. I'd never heard of it, didn't know anything about it, and you proceeded to spend the next hour and a half telling me the entire movie from start to finish.
Right.
And by the end, all I knew is that I wanted to see this movie, and I couldn't wait to see this movie. And it was kind of cool. One of the cool things. I mean, an hour and a half spent just describing a movie and keeping the other person's attention. Who does that anymore?
What was interesting about it was that since we don't have cell phones that we couldn't relate to, we couldn't go and say, hey, look at this, or watch the trailer,
No,
or do this.
nothing.
We didn't have any of that, so it was our imaginations.
Unless we had it on VHS and you could watch it
Yeah.
right then. That's it.
Yeah. But one of the things is we didn't have the cell phones, so because we didn't have the cell phones, Jim was gone. He's came over every other weekend, as everybody knows. And when he would come over, I'd have 14 days, 2 weeks of stuff that I wanted to cover with Jim. And if I had seen a movie, God forbid I see a movie on a Monday after he left that Sunday, and now I got to hold on to this for 13 days
Right.
until he comes
Don't
back
watch a
over
movie
again.
on Sunday night
Oh,
right
it
after I
was-
leave.
It was horrible. It was horrible. But what was cool about it was that, like you had said before, that I just kept your attention for, I don't remember what we were doing, whatever the chore was we were doing. Or maybe we were
Well,
just in
that
our
was just
room.
on that movie. You kept my attention
Oh
all
my
night.
God. The things that we would have to do. But again, we didn't have the cell phones. We did have, when we got older, we had a black and white TV that Mom let us sneak in the room because I don't think Dad wanted us to have that in there.
Probably not.
But we snuck, but it was black and white, and you got 2 channels,
Yeah.
and half the time we
Yeah,
didn't watch
network.
it.
network, and only 2 of them came in good, right? And,
Guys, it sounds old, doesn't it?
it does.
Black and white.
It does.
There's only 2 channels, and it snowed in
Oh
July.
God, how could you survive?
I don't know. But I just remember having to be very creative and descriptive because I didn't have another way to do it, and so we had to explain it that way. But that was really kind of cool, and that was how we occupied our time. That it seemed like on a Friday night, they were almost exhausting because we're always up till 1 or 2 in the morning. It seems like, or later. Sometimes we
Yes.
watched the sun come up together a
Yes.
lot. And it wasn't a romantic thing. It was we were busy playing and doing stuff. But
It was just turn around. Hey, did you notice the sun was up? It is? Oh yeah.
yeah,
You should probably go to bed.
yeah. Well, that's true. And then of course that time the dad knocks on the door and goes, "You guys ready to go golfing?" We're like, "We haven't even went to bed."
I don't care. Get out.
Get
Let's
your
go.
clubs. Go clean up Dad's clubs. Let's go.
Is that the day you hit Dad with the the grass?
I think it is. That's not.
Let me do my warm ups right behind Dad's back.
Sorry, Dad. Oh God.
I
You
just
probably
rem-
got to tell that story. Go ahead.
Oh, I just remember being on the golf course at one of the tees, and when we used to go when we were kids, it was busy at every golf course, and you had to just wait on every hole for the people to get out of your way so you could hit. And golfer etiquette, you got to be quiet. And we're at a hole, and Grant and I pull out our drivers, and Dad's standing there with his driver watching the people in front of us, waiting for them to move. And Grant and I are back there taking swings, and Grant, not thinking, took a swing towards Dad. Hit a clump of grass that was laying on top of the ground, not on purpose. And the grass flew right into Dad's back.
Not only. Hold on.
It went thud.
Not only did it hit him in the back, it hit him in his square.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you took a measuring tape,
You couldn't have done it if
You
you
could be the
wanted
f-
to any better.
oh, it was a square middle part of his back, and his arms go up in the air like, hold on a minute, I got to use this camera. It goes, but with his back to, it, he's like this,
So he turns around without being able to make noise because he knows he's trying to be quiet and just goes.
Yeah, that was. That's kind of funny. 'Cause that wasn't my best day, but it was my awesome day at the same time. Because guys up there on the tee box ready to go, and you can't, like Jim said, you can't be making noises and stuff. And I'm doing practice swings, and I decided to take a hunk of turf.
Just totally
and
one of those
throw
things
it
that
at
a kid does.
15
not on
miles an
purpose,
hour at my
not
dad's
thinking,
back. Oh my God,
But
that was funny.
still funny.
Oh my God. Well, hey, speaking of sports, that's probably a pretty decent segue into. You want to get into fantasy?
Sure.
And for you kids out there, that's football, fantasy football.
Oh,
Ba-da-ba-da-bump.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know the answer to that one. There's a lot wrong with me. Take it away, Jim. Let's talk about fantasy. You were saying earlier that Zach set this up. So fill us in a little bit for some of the family members that might be watching this that aren't really aware of what we're doing.
no, what do you mean? They don't know what fantasy football is or what? Okay, Zach called me up and said he'd like to start a fantasy football league for just the family, basically. If we could get enough family members to do
Right.
it, close family members to do it, and get at least 10 teams, maybe get more later. But I said I was into it, and he got us brothers and some spouses and his mom and his uncle and his cousin to get in, and we got 10 teams and started this league, and we're having a lot of fun. A lot of trash talk going on. A lot of fun being made of people, and every Monday or Tuesday we get the reviews from Zach.
Right.
He's putting time into it on the message board, and I like that. It's nice to read those, and I know everybody else is enjoying it too. So seems good. It's a lot of fun. It's keeping everybody in touch.
I think so. I think it's a pretty cool deal. And I was just showing on the screen there a second ago that the different the roster that's on. I think it's through ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, I guess, another kind of a halfway shout out to Zach without using the shouting music or shouting sound. I think it's really cool that he put this together and did this, and I know me for one, and I'm not a big fantasy person. Jim's always been one. Zach's been one. I've just not. I like to follow my one team and be emotional about wins and losses, and that's about all I can handle. You know, and if you ask me a lot of questions about the Steelers, I can tell you about most of the players on the roster. But when you start getting into, hey, who's the good running back for the Jets, or who's the quarterback for the Texans, or who's the, you know, a lot of the stuff I might know, but for the most part, I probably don't know. So,
Yeah.
but it's been interesting to do this, and it's, and let me do the woe is me, as Zach said. The first 2 weeks of me being on the family fantasy, I got just blown out. So my team, if it should, and I'm just going to say this, make it up, if it was supposed to be like, my team is supposed to score 50 points, and on a bad day they might score 35. I got like 20, you know. It was like absolutely horrible, like record lows, you know. And then of course I lose to Jim first week, and he blows me out of the water, right? Second week I go up against Zach, blows me out of the water again. I mean, it's just like, you know, that they planned it or something, you know. But it was still fun, and we had a great time. And of course, like with anything with fantasy and that, you know, it always turns around. You know, the tides change. And but I've had a lot of fun with it, and I love that there's a little like a chat room, right, where we all go in there, and I throw pictures in there and do the, oh my God, you know, Lake's gonna kill me this week, because Lake is killing it, man. I mean, the last week she had 186 points.
It's funny because I was talking to Jared before the games last week about how Lake's team, after Fields took off,
Yeah.
she's got Fields. I said, look out for her team. I said she got Fields going now. If he's rolling, he's gonna score. He's gonna score some points, which he has last couple weeks.
Sure.
I said she's got that guy, the Puko from the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Cup's been injured. Puko's had this humongous rookie season. I said, now she's got Cup coming back. I said, her team's already kicking, but she gets Cup back and he does anything at all,
Yeah.
she's going to be tough.
Oh, my
and
God.
Jared thought it was funny. I said, I'm serious. Lake, right now, to me, looks like the team to beat. And then she just whooped your butt that day.
Oh my God. Well, on the matchup, and I'm playing her this week, right?
Oh, you're playing her this week?
Yeah, it's this week.
Yeah.
So last week she beat me. I'm going to go to my cell phone here on the so you can kind of see that I've already scored 17 points, but Patrick Mahomes, who probably should on average, I would want to say probably
Score more than that.
22 points, 25 points. You would think kind of on
Yeah.
an average. He's played okay for them to win, but
Yeah.
not standard
Not
Patrick Mahomes
fantasy-wise, no.
ways. Yeah. So, but anyways, but I think I've got a pretty good roster, but she's just coming out of the woodwork, man. And here's some of the other ones. Here's the Goofy Goobers. And not chubby for Mr. What? What is that? Mr. What? Not
Mr.
chubby.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one later. Enchanted Sabers, the Pollard Express. That's right. Pollard, is it Pollard? It's Pollard. I thought so. Okay. Trick or Treat, or Trick or Tyreek.
Tyreek.
There you go. Team Great.
Are you kind of sensing a pattern here?
Yeah, I am. And here's, of course, the commish. I'm on top of the world. And then Silence of the Lambs. That's Gretchen. Watch
Yes.
out for her.
Yeah.
She's
tough, too.
She's got a streak, man.
Yeah, she's tough too. And
That kid is
Zach's
good.
taking a hit with his players this week. So
Yeah. Well, you know, it was really funny because Zach was killing it for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What was he, 4-0?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, of course, the commish of the league is
You
going
know-
to do good, right? But, man, and then he just turned around and they just laid an egg last week.
it's true in fantasy as much as it is in the NFL. You're one injury away from being done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's, I guess, what makes it
Basically,
interesting.
it. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're also one injury away from finding a superstar that nobody knew about.
True. True that. True that.
Tom Brady, just
Yeah.
saying, it happens.
That's true. Well, that's a pretty good segue because we were talking, since we're talking about sports and that, we could even go into the whole thing about what's the differences with the Generation X versus the new generation when it comes to sports, especially with children.
Yeah.
So you want to get into that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The difference.
You want to head off on what you think?
What I was thinking about was an organized sports in schools. Not even just schooling, but like with the travel leagues nowadays, and just the difference from today to when we were kids. When we were kids, it was
Yeah.
play as much as you could. Whatever you want to do, just play them all.
Right.
And today it's so centralized and so important to the coaches that the players play their sport and play
Right.
it year round. And
Yep.
it's a money thing. It's all about money.
It's definitely become that because
Oh, yeah.
it's evolved into that, whether the schools wanted it to or not.
No, yeah,
It's
but it-
become such a huge
Yeah.
money thing.
It has.
And I think that they smelled it and they just went with it.
Absolutely.
And I think it just keeps to going. I mean, look at it like this, okay? I know I'm older, okay? But I played 4 years of high school organized football.
Right.
Our football season was pretty much, I'm going to say, right after 4th of July.
Right.
We started practicing, maybe small practices here and there. And then, by September, of course, we're in school, games start. By Halloween, we're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it didn't happen again until when, Jim? Next June, next
Right,
July.
right.
Okay, so then it was off.
Used to have seasons.
Yeah, but it also opened it up to, hey, Grant, do you want to play baseball?
Baseball,
Do
right.
you want to play some basketball?
Right.
Do you want to try this sport? Maybe you want to play
Absolutely.
some soccer, whatever it would be. Well, now, and I'm gonna relate this back to like Abby in her situation, is that it's become every sport is dominating. Every sport dominates an individual player. The days, I think, of multiple sports for one person, for one kid, I think is kind of went by the wayside.
Yeah.
And with Abby, she could play soccer, but now soccer is year round. They got the indoor soccer stuff, all the traveling leagues.
Right.
For an example, she was playing for pace setter. She played all winter long, right? All winter long.
Right.
When the winter was over with, I think she was done, I want to say in April at some point.
Yeah.
She was done in April with pace setter. Then what happened from there is that then she got on Notre Dame's team, but before she got on the team, she had to do the tryouts. Well, they
Right.
start, school's out at mid-end of May.
Right.
Somewhere in June, they started conditioning, weightlifting,
Yep.
and it was 2 to 3 and 4 days a week.
Yep.
Right? And then on top of that, we took her to a personal trainer, right?
Right.
That because to help her with her footwork, to help her evolve, because it's like if you're sitting down and you're not playing, then you're getting behind these other kids that are playing every
Right.
month, every
Right.
And then she went from, my point is, she went from right out school of May's over for school. She's out of school. Then, all of June, all of July, all of August, it's practice, practice, practice. She makes
Right.
the team at some point in August, right? And then now she just had her last game for this season.
For this season.
For
Right.
this season. Now,
And travel starting,
and now travel's going to be starting.
Yep.
In the next, I think, 30 days or so.
Right.
I think it starts, and here we go again.
which she has to get on because
Yeah.
she's got to stay in shape
Yeah.
if she wants to play for Notre Dame next year.
Well, yeah, because she'll get behind.
Right.
She did leaps and bounds going from pace setter and then going into Notre Dame. She gained so much more. Her footwork improved. Her speed on the field improved. Her technique greatly improved. Her just vocabulary for the game. Everything went up just from going
Right.
from point A to point B. But now it's she's going to have to continue to do that, or she's going to fall behind these other kids, and she will not feel like
Oh, yeah.
she's a
Definitely.
good person on the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, and also not to mention the cost factor. When I played high school football, and I'll have to check with dad or mom, but I don't think there was a whole lot of added costs
Right.
for them. And I don't mean, okay, yeah, he had to buy cleats. Yeah, sometimes you had to buy some pads, or you had to buy this or this. But there wasn't like, oh, you want to play a sport? Okay, I need a check for $2,000.
Right.
On top of tuition? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. On top of cleats? Yeah.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So, and with the travel leagues like Pace Setter, it's even more,
I know.
And then, of
It's
course,
awesome.
on top of that, you've got the personal trainer that comes out and teaches you technique and all this other stuff. And then, of course, if she's going to go out to the Rossford place out there for weightlifting, all that stuff, most of that doesn't cost anything that I can recall. But by the time you get to the team, I mean, we just got hit for another $125 for something for fall sports, which lands in soccer.
Right.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know what the bill is for. I'm sure it's legit. I mean, Notre Dame's a great school, so I'm sure it's legit. I'm sure everything's fine, but I don't know what it is, and it just boggles the mind when you start putting all that together. But that's
Yeah.
just how it was now, and it was never like that for
So I
us.
guess we kind of answered our own question from earlier, you talked about you didn't know what it'd be interesting to see what the parents are going to do with these kids about the cell phones and the media and the social media stuff. And I guess it's just put them in sports 24/7, 365 days a year.
Oh my God. And there's also a study there I saw somewhere that kids today have more homework per class than we did when we were growing up. So if that's true, assuming it's true, if that's true, you add that on top of all of like Abby's dancing that she's doing, which is 1 or 2 days a week, plus all the soccer schedules and all that, and that means she's not home
Which is
to do schoolwork.
Which is hysterical to me because I saw a show on education, and I don't remember if it was Finland or Netherlands. To be honest with you, I don't remember which country it was, but they had very bad education. They were their numbers were awful compared to other countries, and they were like they were the lowest numbers they could have. And they totally revamped everything, and the reporters went out there, and now they're at the top of all the numbers. And the reporters were asking, what's the one difference? They said there's no homework. None.
No kidding.
Never homework. And they said, well, why does that work? And they said, well, the kids come to school, and they want to learn for 8 hours, and then they go home. And they don't have to learn anymore. They can do whatever they want. And then tomorrow morning they come in and they're ready to learn again.
Holy cow.
And I'm like, cool.
Holy cow.
But, that's a whole nother topic about the United States not trying to learn anything from anybody else because we're number one. So, you know how that goes.
Well,
That's a whole
That's a
a
whole
whole
nother show.
podcast. That's a whole couple shows,
It's a
I
whole
think.
nother show.
That we could get into that bag of worms sometime. But
Well, the one person I really wanted to ask one of these questions to that I thought I'd like to get her perspective because she's kind of like half a generation.
Dissing us.
Yeah, she's dissing us, but I wanted to make it
that's
sound
awful.
good. She
She's a grandmother now, so she's probably doing some grandmotherly thing.
whatever. Okay. Whatever, Cindy. Said a name, Soups. Oops. Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
But with Cindy being 5 years older than me, I feel like she's partial generation.
I would love
ahead
to
of
hear
me.
what she has to say.
So why don't we pull her up on your phone? Because you're still plugged into us here. We got our Bluetooth phone connectivity
What do you want to give
going
her a
on
call?
here. Let's
Want me
just
to
see if
call
we
her?
can give her a call, see if she ghosts us or not. We can just ask her a question. See if we can get her on this phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll just give her a ring and see if she answers. Bring up a photo
Oh, I can do that.
in case she answers.
For sure.
I think we're going to be ghosted today.
I think you might be right. I hope not, but you'd think that she would do something more.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated.
Well, that just stinks.
Well,
We are being ghosted in a bad way today.
Dad ghosted us. Cindy ghosted us. We are going to make this podcast successful in spite of you. So, well, you had mentioned earlier that there was somebody that we could call that you think for sure would pick up.
I think so. You want to give him a call?
Yeah, give him a call. Yeah, you try it. Give him a call. And what can we ask him? What do you want to ask him? He's going to have
Could ask
perspective
him
on this
what he
generation.
thinks about the generation. If he thinks of anything.
Let's ask him about the cell phone thing. Say, hey, man, when you have kids, how are you going to regulate? You know that.
I'm getting an incoming call
Uh-oh.
from Cindy. Hello.
Hello.
Well, hi. How are you?
I'm fine.
It's my
How's the phone on yours?
sister.
It's my brother's.
What am I doing?
Wiggy, wiggy.
Yeah, you guys are troublemakers, aren't you?
We are. We're on the air right now.
Are you?
And
then
you're-
you are
you're-
definitely troublemakers.
We have a question for you.
Well, we are doing our podcast. We're not live,
Oh,
but
okay.
we're doing our podcast, and we were having a conversation about Generation X and Generation Today and differences and stuff. And Grant really wanted to get your opinion on some things.
Oh,
So, what did you
my.
want to ask her?
Well, we were talking earlier, Cindy, that we're the first generation that knows what the world was like before microwaves, right? Before the internet, before cell phones and that. And one of the things is that when the kids were growing up, and I don't know if this affected you quite as much because it was still kind of happening, I think, when Jesse was growing up, but the whole cell phone, evolution with that, we were ill-equipped as Gen Xers to really know how to parent around that because we've never experienced it before.
Right.
There's no basis to go back on. We can't call mom and dad or grandma and grandpa or uncle and aunt and say, well, what did you do? Because they didn't do it either. So I was just thinking in my head that it's going to be very interesting to see what the next generation kids like, Jesse and Sarah and Zach and Lake and Justin and Tyler and Sam, what are they going to do with their kids when it comes to monitoring or at least putting some sort of stipulations on the usage of these cell phones? And I mean, in Jesse's situation, moving forward, has she said anything to you in regards to any of that kind of stuff? Do you see that even being an issue? Or how do you think they're going to handle that?
Oh, I think it's going to be heavily monitored. I think with the way the phones are now and access to the internet, they can see so much more and do so much more.
Yeah.
That the parents are going to have to be more on top of things because there's more nasty stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you answered the
Is
phone.
Cora using any tablets or cell phones? I mean, is she playing with them?
So she'll play on a tablet like for coloring,
Uh-huh.
like with the little pen, and
Uh-huh.
she'll color on it that way.
Okay.
And she knows to push the red button when she's saying bye to Grammy and Google on
Uh-huh.
when we have our FaceTime stuff.
Yeah.
But other than
Grammy
that,
and who? Grammy and who?
Google.
Google.
Wow, man, freaked
Google.
Wow.
Yeah, Paige has a little tablet, a little kid's tablet that, she can get internet and she can go and watch her Netflix. But she usually has somebody turn it on for her, but she knows how to get to it. Or she knows how when there's no internet, she knows she can play her games. She's got a couple games that she plays.
Okay.
But yeah, she knows the buttons to,
Oh,
she knows
absolutely.
what she's doing.
Well, she knows that if she does certain things, she's going to get a
Yes.
certain result that she's
Yes.
looking for. Yeah.
But they also take, she can only do it at certain times and she only has, she's very limited,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's pretty good about giving it up when she's supposed to. So,
Oh, that's good.
but
That's good.
it's going to be definitely an issue they're definitely going to have to monitor it closely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because a lot of the stuff, you don't even know if it's real or fake.
Right,
The apps or the hidden stuff.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, now they got this AI that's really taking ahead of steam right now, and you don't know anymore really what's real and what's not real, and it's
this is true. Yep.
it's going to be very different.
For sure.
So
I
what are you
agree.
up to today?
Actually, we're visiting with Cora and
Nice, I
Jessica.
told you.
Yeah, they came into town because Paul was doing his test today, so
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
they came into town to give him some quiet and some space.
Okay.
So yeah, fingers crossed he gets a good result.
Yeah.
Can we ask you one more question?
Just one more. Just one more.
Okay, awesome. The question that I
What the hell is wrong with you?
we would like to formally ask you if we can use you as a call-in source for different things while we do these podcasts that we're working on, and so periodically to get someone else's perspective that's like us or grew up in the same time that we did or lived in the same house as we did and knows, that kind of stuff. So we just wanted to be able to use you as a resource.
We'd like you to be our number one go-to, if that would be okay with you.
I suppose so.
Okay.
Yeah, I can always decline comment, right?
Yes. Or you cannot
You
pick
can.
up the phone if you're just too busy. That's fine too.
I will tell you that
This is true.
we'll forewarn you, Cindy. We'll forewarn you and let you know
Yeah,
when
do
we're
that
doing
because
it.
Yeah, we'll let you
yeah,
know.
that would be
So-
good.
Yep.
We'll
Okay.
definitely
Well,
do
good
that
luck
for
with
you.
your podcast. Where are you guys going to be on? How-
the
If I would want to listen to somebody else,
Yes.
how would I find you guys?
you're not gonna. It's all secret stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all secret agent stuff.
No, we're gonna have we have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's called
Oh, do you
Pardon
really?
Me. It's called Pardon Me, Brother. And there's a YouTube
Okay.
channel out there, and so you'll be able to see it on that. And we're just putting some stuff together now. But we're going to have different guests. We already asked Dad to be our first guest, so we're going to work
As
our
you
way that
should.
way. Yeah, I think so. And but there's a lot of stuff there to ask him about the missing history and things like that. I want to pick his brain on some stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a great forum to do that because when we get together, it's always how are the kids, what's going
Right.
on with the house, Dad, or how's medically how you feeling?
Yeah.
We never
Oh,
get to
yeah.
this kind of stuff.
And we'll be sending
So-
you a link for sure when we get
Yeah.
Okay.
this up, and
Yeah,
we're really doing. These are really our first. We
this is our first episode.
been
right
working
now.
on getting that all set up, and this is our first go-to. So
And
we'll be
we're-
publishing these, and
And
Are
can-
you guys together right now?
Yes.
Or are you in different locations?
No.
I'm
we
in
are
San
together.
Diego and Jim's in Boston.
we're in Grant's
Nice.
vacant living room right now.
Yeah, the echo that you're hearing is because the carpet's going to be installed on Tuesday, so we're on bare board. We got the carpet was pulled up
Yes.
by
Oh.
me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way we're setting this up is that it will be portable, probably.
It's mobile, so
Oh.
like if we
Yeah,
had
we
you
will
on
be
as a
able-
guest, we could actually come to your house.
Yeah.
And just do
Oh,
it
I
there if
see.
you wanted to do that, if that was easier. So,
Yeah.
but
I see.
no, I don't want to keep you. I
Well,
know
that
you're
was-
with your kids and your
Yeah.
kids is.
Grandkids is
Yeah, we were just getting ready to have some pizza for dinner. So
Okay.
Oh well, pizza. Well, you sound like you're a loser.
yeah.
for
No, 'cause I
pizza.
have pizza.
Didn't we have pizza today?
I had to do the brother to sister loser gag. Come on,
Don't listen
come
to him.
Of course, of course.
come
I'd be
on.
surprised if you didn't.
Well, we love you. We miss you.
Yep,
Tell
we
everybody
love
there
you.
we
Love
said
you too.
hi, and
Okay.
we'll definitely be editing this out. So I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Tell Paul we
Alrighty.
keep our fingers crossed.
All right.
Hey,
no
ask,
problem.
ask Paul if he's got any ranch dressing. Gotta go. Love you.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well, just in case nobody heard it. She's
You're
a
an
loser.
awful brother.
Well, I know I'm an awful brother, but it was good to hear her voice. Hopefully
Hey,
it came through.
would you
okay.
be our
Sounded good.
go-to guest? By the way, you're a loser. How nice of you. What is wrong with you, brother?
I don't know, Hulk.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not really sure. What else did we have on the
Pardon
agenda?
me,
here?
brother.
Yeah, pardon me, brother. What else do we have on the old agenda there? We've got another 30 minutes calculated now. Is there something else you wanted to hit? I think we could have a whole episode just talking about cars and stuff.
Yeah, that's another episode.
I know, but I like it. It's cars and stuff. Mostly cars.
Okay.
Mostly cars.
Let's talk more about the generation thing.
Okay, what do you got?
This whole workforce thing that's going on right now with, just it seems like a lot of the younger generation doesn't want to work. And I know I've heard people say that
Oh, good God.
that they do want to work, they don't want to work, there's no
Whatever.
work available, all kinds of things.
Right.
But I do know that there's a lot, at least people that I've contacted and talked to that, that some of the generation, they want to make their money doing what we're doing right now. They think it's going to
doing
make them
something like that, sure.
successful.
Right.
They want to be on YouTube. They want to be on TikTok. That's how they're going to be famous, and that's how they're going to make their money. They're not going to do a 9 to 5.
Right.
And just the way that's going to impact, the way it is impacting
Right.
the country right now, the way it's going to continue.
The workforce.
I mean, somebody's got to do the work. Not every job can be automated. You know what I mean? That's my feeling.
Well, let's go.
I understand there's a lot of money to be made
Yeah.
not working, and a lot of people are doing it successfully, but
Right.
it's also not everybody,
Right.
okay? Not everybody can be the NFL superstar. We know this.
No.
So,
No. Well, not everybody can be the doctors and the lawyers and
Absolutely
all
not.
that as well. You do need your skilled trades.
You do.
You need the people to. I mean,
Well,
wrap gifts, put
just think about
stuff
it.
in your car,
Let's
deliver
just
things.
think about it. Google.
Okay.
It's not all run by computers.
No, they got a staff.
There's a lot of people that work at Google, okay?
Yeah.
they're all doing work.
Yeah.
Same thing with electricity. How do you think electricity gets to your house? It's just not, computer's not taking care of everything. And then,
Right.
okay, we need, like you said, we need skilled workers. And there's a lot more than that. There's just tons of examples you could come up with where we need people
Right.
to work.
Well, what I'm even gearing towards is, okay, you've got, with so many of the kids out there that, look, I don't really want to go to school. I don't want to go to college. I don't mind working with my hands. I really don't mind making a decent, honest living with my hands, right?
Right.
Doing skilled labor or
Right.
regular labor, even not skilled labor. So, for an example, I have a really nice older gentleman that's probably 10 years our senior, right? And he does my irrigation system every year. I think I told you this before.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes over and he works by himself and he blows out the irrigation system to winterize it, right?
Right.
So he comes over and does that. And a couple times I've asked him and I said, hey, anybody else working with you? Or hey, I might want to put in an extra sprinkler head or da-da-da-da-da. And he goes, no, all I'm doing now is just blowouts in the winter, right? The winterization. And I'm doing turn-ons in the spring. And I said, well, why is that? And he goes, well, because I can't get anybody to help me. He told me, he said, I've hired like 2 or 3 people. One guy came for a day, never came back again. Another guy got hired and just never came, ever. Ever.
Wow.
And another guy came and worked for 2 or 3 days and also disappeared and never returned. So he's like, I can't get anybody that wants to actually do a job.
Right.
He goes, so I stopped trying to hire, and I've done enough with I have enough business for, the blowouts, the winterization, and the summer turn-ons that I don't need to do all that. So
Right.
it's, and I just sit there and go, well, and that's not the only person I've heard. I have other friends that own companies that are like contractors or they build things and they're in the construction industry in one facet or another. And they have the same issue.
Right.
I've got another guy that I know that's a very good friend of mine that does painting for a living. And he had a serious trouble getting people that would come to work and didn't want to stay home, play video games, and get high. That was just what he ran
Right.
into. So I don't know. I've been working since I was, how old? 10, 12?
Right.
Remember I had that, I used to cut grass and go to
Yeah.
Larry Siegert's house and go up and down the street and
Yes.
hit the older retired folks and stuff and do their grass and that kind of stuff. And I've been doing that, I've never stopped working since. And I think
Right.
you're right in that same range as well as far as when you were working.
Yeah.
I know that as soon as you hit 15, 16, 14, whenever you could start, you started working at, what, Don Juan's or Don Alejo's?
Don Alejo's, yeah.
Don Alejo's. And you were there, and then, you've never stopped since, and neither have I.
Right.
But,
Well, tie this back into the sports we were just talking about, how it's 24/7, 365 days. When are these kids supposed to get a job? Oh, I guess they don't. So,
well, definitely not during high school.
well,
Definitely
why not? We did.
Well, yeah, well. But, of course, that I think that comes
I
back
understand it's okay. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's wrong to not let your kids work, but are enough kids get in the workforce?
to, no.
Are enough kids learning that, let's get out there and get some work done?
Yeah. And, well, it's
And
a
I'm
different
not saying,
time.
like I said,
you know?
I'm not saying it has to be that way.
No.
But the workforce is being depleted, and somebody's going to have to do the work.
Well, when I was in high school and I was working at Friendlies, when football season came around, they knew, okay, he can't work because of this, this, and this.
Right?
But they also knew that's it.
Yeah.
After Halloween,
Yeah, you're back
Grant
to
can
work.
be to work whenever he
Absolutely.
can, minus school hours, right?
Absolutely.
So now these kids, like you said before, it's 24/7. It's 12 months out of the year that they're playing their sport, and some of them are traveling all over the country.
Yep.
Abby did competitive dance. That's another crazy racket. With the competitive dance, they want her to dance in Disney, and then they're going to go to Vegas and do a competition, and they're going to go to LA for a competition. Well, it's all money, 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 hotel, hotel, hotel. Every dress you buy is $150 a pop, or $100 a pop, and it's a lot. It was a lot, and that's another one that if you decide that you want to do, competitive dancing at one of these dance studios, that's another almost 24/7 gig. I think they dance from, I want to say they start dancing in September,
Right.
maybe August, September, and they're not done until April.
Right.
So there you go again. It's another long season. So, yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got to say about that.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I see we have a guest in the house over there in the kitchen
I hear some
area.
rattling going on behind me.
Yeah, I see lights going on.
Yeah, I saw a head.
Can't really. Oh, there she is. I see her.
Oh, yep.
She
She's
made it
looking.
in the episode. She's actually our first guest. Without
Looks
a
like
microphone.
it.
Looks like it. Well, I think that's all I've got. Do you got another thing you want to cover?
No, I think that's it for today.
I think we're probably good. I appreciate you coming over and hanging out with me and doing this. And
I appreciate you including me in your latest venture.
wow, listen to that. But I do have to do one more shout out to the missus and thanking her and allowing me to buy some stuff I probably
better.
didn't need, putting up with me as I do another one of my crazy things. And I'm gonna take the camera off of her because I can't look right now. But Deb's always been a very big
She's
support.
looking at you.
Support. I know. I can feel it. My ass is all hot. So, but love you, honey. Thank you very much. Appreciate you doing what you do for me and what you're gonna do later. Anyways, Jim, thanks again for stopping over. We got Dad on our next episode, so we're gonna have to come up with some stuff for him.
Okay.
I'm serious about.
That'll be tough.
I think we're gonna have a long episode. That won't be tough. Whatever.
Wow, man, freaked out.
But I know that we're gonna have a lot of questions about a lot of stuff, not just picking Dad's brain and having fun and having a conversation.
Right.
But I think we should have an agenda as far as some of this stuff for missing history, because I just think that this is a great
Can
opportunity.
Deb work on that for us?
Deb can work on that for us.
Cool.
She doesn't. She does not look happy at all. She's like, I'm not doing it. So, but yeah, I think we got a lot
She's
of things.
got
that-
time.
Oh yeah, sure she do. But great opportunity with Dad, and I think we got to take advantage of that opportunity, just as we will with every guest, and come up with some stuff. And hey, did you have? I had told you before we break out of here.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions for me? Because you said we're going to bring 3 questions to the table. Did
You
bring
asked
it?
me to bring 3 questions
Did
to
you
the
bring
table.
any with you?
I did not bring any questions with me.
Suck, you're a loser.
I was going to think of them today at the soccer game, but all I could think about was I'm freezing my butt off out here.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
kidding.
So you didn't do your homework on time.
I didn't do my homework.
Didn't do his homework, and he's trying to get it fixed up in study hall.
No, I
Not
knew
a
I
good
could
way
come
to
up
do
with
it.
3 questions. You want a question?
That's true. Yeah, you got a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your question?
What made you decide to do this?
I don't remember. That's not too difficult. Number one, I always have a good time hanging out with you, whatever we're doing. We've done these travels together now, and we got a history with childhood and a lot of similar likes that are aligned. We have a lot in common, not just the fact that we're both missins and brother, but we grew up in the same era, so we have a lot in common. We're almost the same age, besides 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days.
Yeah.
So,
Switch camera.
what's that? You want me to switch the camera to you?
No, to you.
All right, it's not me now. So we just have a lot in common, and with us both being dads, and now you're a grandpa, and I'm not about to be Sam, Tyler, Abby. So, anyways, I just think that I want to do something with you that was fun, but this is also a good way to date stamp some stuff for next generation, for Justin, for Jared, for Tyler, for all the kids, and quite honestly, Jackson. And
Yeah.
Paige, and I just think that if we do this right, we can cover a lot of stuff, we can have a lot of fun, and it's just something that we can go back and we can watch on a holiday, or we could do a podcast with everybody on holiday.
Yeah.
If we wanted to, it'd be something that we could do
Sure.
if it worked out and people were, down for it. But
You mean on Christmas Eve while they're all doing this stuff, we could just be sitting here talking, and one at a time, as they walk up to the
Absolutely.
table, we could just say, "Hey, I
Absolutely.
got a question for you."
just say, "Yep, what do you want for Christmas?" Because I didn't go shopping. Because like Jimmy, I waited till the last minute and I didn't do it.
Okay.
So,
I have another question for you.
oh my gosh, you got another question?
See,
for
you
me?
didn't think I could do this without doing my homework.
I really didn't think you could. This is impressive.
Okay. Any place you and I can go on a trip together right now, but we cannot go back to Georgia. Where are we going?
Well, of course, I've got the ball field still in my mind because we just talked about that.
You don't even know the name of the movie.
Field of Dreams. Field of
Just
Dreams.
call it the ball field. We can't go. It's Iowa.
Yeah, it's in Iowa, right? I know.
That's too easy. We could be there in 8 hours. 6.
Well, I was just thinking about, because, the house that's there, you can actually do, you can stay at the house.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, we talked about it. So you can run out
Yes.
the house and then we could stay there and maybe we get to see Shoeless Joe Jackson out on the field, maybe.
My wife is not going to let me go without her.
All right, well, still could do it. We could take the ladies.
We could take the women with us.
I have no problem with that.
I got plenty of rope.
Oh boy, that's just not coming across very good at all.
That's not what I mean.
That doesn't sound very good at all. Yeah, I'm gonna just turn it to this side. I can't look at you right now, so I can't.
Why are you on your phone?
Because I wrote down. I had 3 different questions and I can't find them. So I'm actually now I got to wing it like you because I can't even find them.
Oh,
I know you feel bad.
so I got one more for you.
If you want, sure. Yeah.
What do you feel
Yeah.
was your greatest accomplishment before you turned 18?
Before I turned 18, my greatest accomplishment. Well, it's pretty easy because as a kid, any accomplishment you feel is awesome, right? So one of my greatest accomplishments is that I feel is that I stuck out football.
Okay.
I went from beginning to end. My freshman year, I wasn't a starter. Even all the way through to my senior year, I really wasn't a starter. I played a lot more my senior year.
Well, you changed schools, too.
I did. And they put me in more as a backup for the other running back. They actually made a position for me. They wanted me to play more. And they made a position called Z-back, which they didn't have before then. Or maybe they did, they just didn't utilize it. But it was kind of cool that I went there. I did the practice. I went through the two-a-days, went through all the conditioning, went through the weight training, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it was a big deal for me to finish what I started.
Okay.
So that was probably, at the time, probably my greatest accomplishment that I can think of if I was an 18-year-old kid. I graduated high school.
That might be a good question for Dad
What his greatest accomplishment was before he turned 18?
before he turned 18. If
Probably-
he could remember.
Probably buying a Corvette or something.
It might be.
Maybe
He did work a lot. He made a lot of money when he was younger.
He did. There's some questions there for Dad. I'm still back on where else we could go. Question 2. Because I always wanted to go Hawaii, but that's not going to happen for a bit.
Yes.
That's got to come back before I'm going to. I want to see Maui. I'm not going to
Okay, well,
go and do that.
what's that have to do with asking Dad questions?
Nothing. I was back on this question 2, where you said if we could go anywhere in the world. Where
Oh, you
would
still
go?
don't know where to go.
I'm still not sure on where to go on that. So
I'm surprised. I
Yeah.
thought you had locations.
I don't.
Did you hear that, Deb? He doesn't know where to go on vacation
No.
with me.
And I just got a message from a birdie that says we're about to have 3 more guests in 2 minutes. I don't know who that is.
3 more guests.
I don't know who that is. I don't know what that's about. So we're probably going to wrap this up in about a minute.
Yeah, we need to do that. Then.
So I think we're going to wrap it up. But
I don't get my questions. That stinks.
No,
We may have to come back on for 10 minutes just to get my questions. Episode 4 of our first ever podcast.
Episode 4. All right. Well, we'll go back to the how do you do. So thank you again, Jim. I appreciate your time. Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
coming
Grant.
out here and doing this with me.
Absolutely.
And it's always good to spend some time with my bro. And even though I messed up the name and instead of saying pardon my brother, it's now pardon me, brother. Either way, it still
Pardon
works for
me.
Pardon me.
Pointing out to you that you used the wrong name.
Yeah, I screwed that up royally.
Pardon me, brother.
I'm a loser. I think that's my favorite sound effect.
It's never going to get old.
Never. I like Randy, though, too.
Wow, man, freaked out.
I like Randy, too. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're going to sign off. So high five to you, bro. Until next time.